So welcome everybody to our Microsoft 365 webinar series. If you are new to our call, we just know we've been doing this webinars for over 3 years and we love it, super fun. My name is Jan Lehman, I'm the owner of CTC, and with me today is Nancy Krushke, one of our veterans in the CTC world. Arnie is on the call, but he's supposed to be on vacation, so we're going to ignore Arnie, but he's here for his own personal learning. So anyway, so the way these webinars are structured is we do a deep dive for about 20 minutes on one particular topic, and then we open it up for Q&A. So if you already have questions about the topic we're going to discuss today, feel free to start entering it into the chat. We'd love to know kind of where your questions are and happy to answer those along the way. Otherwise, we'll answer questions at the end. And the goal today, we're going to be talking about task management in Microsoft Teams. And this is a topic, Nancy, when did you do this? A year ago? More than a year ago?
I don't know. I actually couldn't find the previous one. So
okay.
I think we deleted it. I don't know.
I love it. So it's time we do it again. So you definitely did one a while ago, but so much changes with Microsoft and Teams, as you're all seeing. And so we thought it was time to revisit the topic. And so today we're going to talk about task management in the Microsoft Teams environment. And then next month, Nance, go ahead and switch the slide. Thank you. Next month, we're going to be doing a topic, we're calling it Supplementing Redtail, which is a CRM with Microsoft 365. This is a tool we're starting to build out for a lot of organizations. And this is what we thought, let's go ahead and do a webinar on it. But the whole thing we're noticing is there's a lot of really great software out there. So there's really good CRM tools, ERP tools, but often they're missing certain functionality that's really needed. And so we're noticing that we're building out a lot of SharePoint solutions to supplement these other pieces of software. So Redtail is actually an industry-specific CRM for the financial planning industry, for wealth managers. It's an awesome CRM for that particular industry, but there are some gaps in what it doesn't do very well. And again, we're supplementing that. So you don't have to actually be a Redtail user, or even, it's just, that'll open your eyes to what's possible in SharePoint to supplement other software. So I just entered into the chat a couple different links for you. So there's a link to register for that particular webinar next month. Also a link to view past recordings, to sign up for our newsletter, sign up for our YouTube channel. And there's a link if you have any interest in purchasing my book, where we talk about 365 throughout the book as well. So on that note, I'm going to cover a couple slides before we keep going, and I hand the baton over to Nancy. So I just want to make it clear, we don't lead with technology. We don't come in and say, hey, everybody should be using Microsoft 365. Our whole company is about helping companies run more efficiently, and there's a lot of levers we can pull there. Some of them have absolutely nothing to do with technology. But one of the things we're noticing is that there often are many business issues that can be solved by Microsoft 365. So that's really the focus of our webinar series. And those issues typically look like one of these. So organization, communication, collaboration issues. We often joke, if you have an overflowing inbox, that's an indication you need to use Microsoft 365. Or if you have back-to-back meetings all day, that's probably also a clue you need to be doing something with Microsoft 365. Because when people aren't communicating or collaborating effectively, everybody just calls a meeting. And so it's often where we see that there's some inefficiency in companies. It looks like the trend is sticking around for remote and hybrid work environments. So most companies are really hybrid. There's very few that are 100% remote or 100% in office. And quite honestly, even if you were 100% in office, you would still want to be using Microsoft 365 to help you work in a more hybrid and remote world, because everybody has a sick kid and needs to work from home periodically. So if you're in any of these environments, getting on a Microsoft 365 is really smart, because you can access anything from anywhere, whether it be your mobile device, your computer at your home, it doesn't matter. So as we transition out of the pandemic into this new world, 365 becomes an even more valuable tool for sure. And then we're going to do, we're doing case studies now. So I'm going to go through quickly a case study, and the link for the case study is actually in the chat as well. But just to give you a sense of what are some of the business issues and how can you use 365 to solve it. So I was actually coaching the head of sales and the head of engineering, helping them be as productive as they could be. And during those coaching sessions, I was noticing that they were both spending a ton of time tracking down project status, and there was a lot of interruptions. And so we recommended that we build out a solution within SharePoint, and that's exactly what we did. But what was happening is the really sales to engineering workflow was really inefficient. There was no clear record of what sales had sold and clear communication to the project team. And project status was scattered. It was, they'd have to look through email to figure out the status of projects, things like that. And from the engineering leadership perspective, they really were having a hard time doing resource planning, trying to track all the different projects that all the engineers were on. There was no supervisor portal, as we call it. Planner is a great tool to use, but it's really just a simple project management tool. If you want to start looking at a lot of different projects together, often you outgrow Planner and you need to build out a SharePoint solution. And what this company found as well is when they were doing scope change, it was, again, a difficult thing to do because they didn't have everything in one place and it was easy to communicate change. Again, this is a good example of where a piece of software has really good features. So they looked at using their ERP tool. I think they're using Epicor. And their ERP tool was really good at materials management and financials and all that kind of stuff, but it was not very good at reporting. It didn't allow them to manipulate data. So we tried actually to get them to use their ERP to solve these issues, but realized it was not going to happen. And so again, we went forward with building out a solution on SharePoint to supplement their ERP tool. And the overall benefits from it is now they schedule on availability and capacity versus a gut feel that they can take on a new project. It streamlined their whole project management process, and there's a lot of transparency. Everybody can see in every department what's going on, and there's a centralized spot for them to get updates on what's happening, and they don't have to find stuff in email or other particular areas. The benefits to, go ahead, Nancy, you can go to the next one. The benefit to the engineers, I love this, the feedback we were hearing from the actual engineers, they were happy and empowered and they were super happy about the tool. So it wasn't just a great tool for management. The engineers could actually schedule work on their own and they weren't overwhelmed by data because in SharePoint, you can have personalized views. So they could actually just pull up the information that they needed to see. And we set up alerts and things to alert them when it was time for them to move to the next step in the process. So lots of great features in SharePoint. We took advantage there. And then from a sales perspective, sales could get faster, quicker answers back to customers, more accurate information, and it just improved the way communication was happening within the sales team as well. And then our last slide, what we're trying to do is just identify like how much does something like this cost? In this particular case, it cost $58,000 to build. I will tell you, we did a lot of process improvement work of streamlining the workflow before even looking at the technology in this particular case. So clarifying roles and responsibilities. So there's a lot of soft stuff happening there. The good thing about building out in SharePoint is there's no ongoing subscription fee. So that's a real benefit. It took us about 4 months to do the project. And in addition to all the benefits that we listed before, we're trying to calculate one exact ROI. And so we used the example from the sales team. So they were spending about, all 4 of the sales reps were spending about a half hour a day trying to track down the status. And now they spend about 5 minutes. So when you multiply that out annually and you say 4 people doing something every day and they're saving 25 minutes, that extrapolates out to now the sales team has 54 more days to sell work. So that's the benefit, just one of the many benefits that kind of offloads the cost of the project. So I hope that made sense, but it's been really great getting that feedback from our clients on the benefits they're seeing from the software rolling out. And I think we're up for you, Nance. Yep, you're up. Thank you.
All right. I love hearing those case studies and the ROIs. I just think that's exciting. And I think it's cool to put it into our webinars, Jan.
Awesome.
So let's talk task management. Task management is one of those things that we love and we hate, right? We have all these tasks we need to figure out when we're going to do and where we're going to keep them. But also it's like, we have all these tasks that we need to figure out where we're going to put them and what we need to do. So we're going to talk about a couple of tools inside of Microsoft. Did I skip a slide here? Nope. So three main themes for today are we're going to talk about where the task apps are integrated, how to manage your personal tasks and give you tools there and ideas. And then also those your group of teammates that you work with regularly, or those project teams that you work with, and how to manage those tasks utilizing 365. Hopefully you get some new ideas of what's inside of here. So Microsoft actually has 3 different task apps. They have the To-Do, the Planner, and then the Project. Today, we're only going to focus on the To-Do and the Planner. We've actually found very few of our clients do decide to use Project if their scope is outside of Planner for their teams and the Project. Then that's where Arnie to the rescue right now in building out those SharePoint solutions that he's talked about over the past several months.
Mhm.
So the To-Do app, people always ask me, what's the difference between the To-Do and the Planner? The To-Do app is managing your personal tasks. So this is for you. There's a way you can share, but I'm only talking today. These are your tasks. And if you haven't noticed in Outlook already, it will soon be rolling out to a computer near you that the Outlook tasks are going away. So you'll be like, where are my tasks? All of the Outlook tasks. If you do see that in Outlook, you're seeing the tasks and you're seeing this blue check mark, which is the To-Do app. And so it's showing your task in both of those places right now, but by year end, the Outlook tasks will be gone completely.
Nancy, it's so awesome. One of the things I love about you guys is you all stay current on what's coming with 365, which is so critical because it's constantly changing. So thanks for that heads up about the deadline.
Constantly. And sometimes I'm doing training and I look at someone's screen and I'm like, mine doesn't look like that. Because their organization has chosen to roll out updates sooner than mine. And so I never know what version someone's going to have.
All right.
So where do you find the To-Do app? And this is another thing that sometimes people are just frustrated about. It's like, I just want one place. But Microsoft, wants to integrate so that you can find the information in multiple places. So if you're in Teams, you have access to it. If you're on your phone, you have access to it. So you can find the To-Do app in multiple places. If I can get my thing to come up here. So in the desktop, and there's a couple desktops here. The one that I pulled in is your Outlook desktop app. And like I said, it is now changed. You may still see the clipboard with the red check mark on it, but you should also see in your Outlook desktop app. This is in the web where you can go ahead and find it. Now, both the desktop and the web, you also can on the desktop go to your Microsoft Store and actually install the desktop app of the To-Do. When you're on the web, there is not really a To-Do app. As soon as you click on the check mark, it opens To-Do inside of Outlook on the web. This is just a picture. I have the different apps, Microsoft apps on my phone. And so this is where you find it on your phone. You can just go to the store, the Google Store, the iStore, Apple Store, and go ahead and download it. And this is where you're going to find it inside of Teams in an app called Tasks by Planner and To-Do. And so that actually brings both of the To-Do and the Planner into one space inside of Teams, which I'll show you in a little bit what that looks like. I wanted to show you that no matter if you went to the desktop app, so this is the desktop app showing all the different task lists or smart lists that are available to you. This is how it looks in Outlook, how it looks on my device, and how it looks inside of Teams. And so you can see as you look through here, we have tasks in My Day and Important and Planned and Completed and All on most of them, assigned to me, flagged emails. And so it doesn't matter where you are, you have access to the same information and it's all synchronized. And that is a beautiful thing. The nice thing about putting it on your device, if you are able to do that, is that when you're out and about, you have the ability to do a couple of things, right? You can add, oh, something pops into my head. Don't write a post-it note. Don't send yourself an email. Just go ahead and open up the To-Do app and add those tasks right there. And that just makes it so easy. If for some reason your organization does not allow you to install that app, then kind of the best solution versus post-it note is to send yourself an email, because when you do have an email, you can go ahead and you can flag it, and that will also show up on your task list, just as it did inside of Outlook. So how do we add tasks? I already talked about one way you're out and about, right? You're on the go and add them on the fly like that. But when you're in the app, you're going to add them in the task. So you would click on tasks and go ahead and add those. So that's one way that you can get tasks onto your personal to-do task list. The second is in Outlook to go ahead and flag email. You may, if you are going into the To-Do app, you may on the desktop or the web, you may find that the flagged email isn't there. It is something in the settings you do need to turn on. So if you're not finding it, go to the settings and you can go ahead and turn it on. So those are two ways that you can add, well, actually three, because I told you one on the previous slide. And then with Teams, it's kind of exciting. It's like, oh man, you know, there's some people are sending me chats or people are posting in a channel and they want me to do something. How do I get that, Nance? I feel like it's someplace else. It is and it isn't. Because of the integration, you can go to that message and you can create a task and add it to your task list. And it's going to show up in that task, a smart list on the bottom down here. So as soon as you do create a task, it's going to say, where do you want to send it to? Because when you create, you can go to your to-do list or you can go to a plan. And so that's a nice feature right there inside of Teams so that you're not missing any of those tasks.
Hey, Nance, walk through that one more time, just because this is such an important piece. So if somebody sends me something in my chat that really is a task, you can go in there and click more actions and then create a task. Is that where you're?
So in the background, I didn't put the whole message here. I kind of truncated it, but this is the message. And if this message was asking me to do something specifically, I can hover over it. I get these little three dots. There's always some more menus there. Go ahead and click on that, come down to more actions, and then select create a task.
Perfect.
I wish that was on here.
Yeah.
And the other day when I did this with a client once, and I can't remember if it was her desktop version or her web version, the next time we went to walk through the process, it did take this as a common feature she was using, and it added it to her short list.
Awesome.
I just don't remember what version where we were, because I'm always in with my clients. Sometimes I'm in desktop version, sometimes I'm in web version, sometimes I'm on their phone. So I can't remember which one I was in, but yeah. And then there's a pop-up when you click on that says, what list do you want to add it to? And you can choose your task, which will be your to-do tasks. And if you are part of any plans, you will also see in the drop down all the plans that you are part of that you could go ahead and add that task to.
Oh, I love this. The integration in Teams is just amazing. This is great. Thank you.
Yes. So one of the other features inside of the To-Do app that Microsoft added to help us as the end user be more productive is the My Day. And the whole purpose is, hey, let us help you stay focused on your most important tasks so that you don't have to look through, because really what you have here are three lists. And I'm going to come back to that in a second. But it's kind of like, where am I, what do I have to do? What do I have to focus on? So the purpose of My Day is to help us as individuals focus on those most important tasks. So how does it help us do that? One, any task that you have a due date on is automatically added to My Day. So right now, if you go into your My Day, you should see that there's some tasks in there that were due today, if you had any. The one caveat of that is that my day at midnight wipes out. They all get removed and go back to where they really live, and they don't show on the My Day smart list anymore. And it brings in that next day, do any tasks that are due that next day. Any manual tasks that you added. So if you had some tasks on your task list or your flagged email or any assigned tasks from plans that you wanted to focus on today, you can go ahead and manually add those. So there's two main ways to get items on your My Day. Again, any items that you added, tasks that you manually add today at midnight gets wiped out. Now I have some clients that say, well, what midnight? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if what time zone that midnight is. And for
It's
those
probably their, I would think it's their computer time zone. Yeah, midnight.
right. So I have no idea. And I think that's Eastern, but don't quote me on that because I know that there's a lot in Pacific time. There's a lot of Microsoft shops and out there as well. So I don't know. Just know that sometime between 11 and 2 in the morning, something like that, they're going to go away.
Love it.
And then how else do you stay focused on those tasks? And Jan and I preach this all the time to our clients is in addition to the meetings that you have scheduled, scheduling focus time on your calendar. And during that focus time is when you pop over here to My Day and you already have those 3 to 5, maybe a couple more, but 3 to 5 is what we say. You'll be able to really focus and get done during that day. So those are the 3 ways that you get items on the My Day to stay focused. Anything you want to add there, Jan?
No, it's awesome.
Okay. So there's a few ways to organize inside of the To-Do app. And as I've already mentioned, the task list are tasks that you add. The flagged emails are email messages that you added a flag on in your Outlook inbox. Assigned to me, those tasks come from plans, which is their next topic. But then we have, and you can, again, these may not show in your To-Do app. These are called smart lists. Complete it. This is going to show all of the tasks that you've already put a little check mark right in this circle and said, I'm done with it. If you want to see all of your completed tasks from all of your lists. And then all is going to show all. So if you don't want to go to tasks and email and assign to me, if you show the all smart list, then you can go ahead and you'll see all your tasks in one spot. So another way, 2 other smart lists that help you organize or group your messages is planned. Any task on any of these 3 lists down here, tasks, email, and assigned, that have a due date on them are also going to show up in planned. And so Microsoft, again, is trying to help us out and say, hey, that's probably one way you want to look at them. So if this was active and I clicked on planned, over here, everything would have a due date on it. Also, you'll notice over here where there's a star. And so this one right here that says write social media post, that one is starred and they show up as important. So if you do have some of your tasks that you're like, oh, these are important, they don't have multiple levels. I know many of us may have gone through different trainings and they talk about having, top 3 levels, 1, 2, 3 of importance. And really, kind of Microsoft is also showing it. If it's important, it's important. Is there really a level of importance? And so if any of them have stars on, again, in those top 3 lists down there, they're going to show up here too. And as soon as you would take the star off or you would complete them, they'll come off of the important smart list and they'll come off of whatever lists they were down here. So that's one of the ways that Microsoft already is doing some pre-organization for us. And we don't really have to do much different. But they say, hey, our customers are saying we want the ability to do more sorting. So on each of the lists, so this important is going to pull from all the list. If I'm only on tasks and I sort, it is only going to sort the importance in my task list. So in each list, you also have this sort by importance, due date, add it to My Day, alphabetical, or creation date. One more option is group. So this is a new thing because they recently added the ability to add categories. And guess what? If you use categories in Outlook, because the To-Do app is integrated inside of Outlook, this is your Outlook category list. Yay!
Oh, that's cool, Nance. I didn't know that.
A few months ago, it was not. But they have finally fixed that coding evidently. And when I click on it in mine, I get my laundry list of all my Outlook categories. So you don't have to create a different category list. But they did make it, it's not a sort by category. It is, do you want to group them by category? And so I'm just going to go blue, yellow, green. And so when you would click on that, it's going to show you blue on the top and all the ones that fit under blue, green and all the ones that fit under green, and so on and so forth. So it gives you those subheadings and then the tasks that meet that criteria. And so that's a nice feature as well. Yeah, so they're really doing a nice job helping us organize.
Mhm.
All right, looks like I have to talk faster, Jan. Planner. So Planner is for managing those team and project tasks. And where do you locate that? Very similar to what we saw with the To-Do app. When you're out on the web, if you click on your 9 dots, your app launcher, your waffle, whatever you affectionately call it, you're going to then select Planner. So that's where you find that. This is, again, I have it already put on my phone. So I just navigate it to my Microsoft folder that I have. And there's Planner. And inside of Teams is Tasks by Planner and To-Do. I must have missed a screen or not have explained it. So I'll do it here a little bit. So on the web, when you go to Planner, this is the left navigation. Where it's your hub, it's going to show you all the plans that you're a member of. Any tasks that have been assigned to you in that, and any of those plans are going to show here. And then you can pin them, and down here, there's some more information in that pane. Inside of Teams, though, the top part is in Tasks by Planner and To-Do is My Tasks or the To-Do app. And so you'll notice they look just like what I was showing you before. And so that's how this Task by Planner and To-Do not only pulls your to-do in, but it pulls your plans in. So just like on the web, I found my Microsoft training plan. Inside of Teams, as long as that plan has been added as a tab to that team, it is going to show up here. You may have on the web access to more plans than you do inside of Teams. And that just means that not all of your plans have been added as a tab, as we can see over here. So here is my channel, my general channel. And at the top up here in the tabs, I went ahead and I added that plan. And so I have access to it inside of that channel. And it's also going to show up in Tasks by Planner and To-Do. Don't forget to put your questions in. So how do you add tasks in your plan? When you go to it, you just click add task. It's pretty simple. The one thing that is to me a little frustrating, and this doesn't matter where you do it in what any of the planner locations where you can find it, you add a task, you type the name, and then essentially you hit enter. And then you come down here. So if I had just added this task, new task, I have to do a little bit, and then I have to save it. And then I can click on new task to open my task card. And the To-Do app has a very similar task card. It's just a little slimmed down, but it's really easy to go ahead and add tasks. And then the other way that you can add tasks is what I showed you over in the To-Do, where you can go to a message in Teams, whether it's a chat or a post, and you can click on the 3 dots and add a new task. Microsoft, again, really these are, I would say, ways to organize in that you have your board. So there are different views and who wants to see it which way. Everybody gets to choose. So there's a board view, which is more of a top down. So all the tasks that fit in To-Do, so this is called a bucket, they're all going to be listed here. This next bucket was 4-part series. And so all of those tasks are going to be listed there. And so they're going to be very siloed, right, from left to right. And so that's the board view. The list view is more of an Excel view. And so many, especially I would say the engineers that I work with, they love this view best because they just like the Excel view. And so really that's what the list view is. And if you haven't been playing around in Planner, list is something that they added maybe about a year ago. The chart view, as I show this to clients, they're like, oh, yeah, I like this, because it's that quick visual that you don't get with a board view or any of the other sorts that I'm going to show you how you can organize here. It just gives you that quick visual of, okay, we have 2 tasks left. Yay, we had 2 completed. And right now, none of them are late. And so we can see what's happening. Then the buckets, how many tasks are in the bucket? So we can see the to-do bucket has 3 tasks in it. The other bucket has only 1 task in it. And what was their priority? And then who are they assigned to? So there's a little bit of resource loading inside of Planner. It certainly is not as advanced as some of these SharePoint lists that Arnie is connecting that help those managers or foremen or supervisors see what's going on. But it's something. I think it's better than nothing, so that you can see, and if tasks were overdue, these lines are red. And so it tells you, you know, what the urgency is of those tasks and what the status is by their color. So it's kind of nice. And then you get a schedule view. And so it's not quite a Gantt chart. If you're looking for a Gantt chart, Planner's not for you. But when you put those due dates, those start dates and end dates for that task, you can get that plan, that schedule view, so that you can see how many tasks and how they're going to overlap each other inside of the Planner app. But also you have the ability to add that Planner app into your Outlook. And so this is a way to help everybody on the team stay focused and see not only here's what my calendar looks like, but what is happening with the project or projects that I'm working on, and how are those tasks overlapping each other. That, I think, is one of the best features.
Yeah, that's cool.
Again, Microsoft says, hey, we're going to help you stay organized. So we have these buckets. You could think of them as categories if you want it, and how those tasks group together. But you can choose, how do I want to group it by buckets, who they're assigned to, the progress, the due date, the labels. And so that's one way to organize. There's also a filter, so you can go ahead and filter down, and each of these are expandable so that you can put check marks in front of the different priorities, the different people that items are assigned to. And so you can change the view on a fly, just like you can in an Excel spreadsheet. But I think it's much easier, because if you don't set your spreadsheet up right, then you don't have the filter and the sort and the different, you just have to click buttons here and it magically happens for you. That's what I like about it. It's quick and easy. So the summary is really add all your tasks to your to-do app to help you stay organized, stay focused, and to access your tasks anywhere on any device. And then use plans in Planner to keep the team informed and in sync. Stay on top of the team project progress and status, and view plans in Planner, Teams, or Outlook. Woohoo! All right, Jan, it's your turn.
Nice, Ann. So Dan asked a question, and I'm going to go ahead and answer. It was a really good question. He was asking, how the heck do you change your habits, right? You're used to using paper and switching over to more of a digital to-do app. And we hear that a lot, in particular in the coaching, Dan, of like, how do I change these habits? My personal recommendation is decide which, I always recommend decide which to-do app area is going to be the area you use. And I typically recommend to clients, use the one on your phone, because more often than not, things are popping up in your head when you're not sitting in front of your desktop, and your phone sadly is with you. So in reality, what we're trying to do is change your habits. We don't want to just tell you this is a great app to use, but we've got to actually change your habits to get you to work differently. So it's getting in that habit of every time a to-do pops in your head, grab your phone and get used to entering into the phone. The other thing is there needs to be a time of day when you're actually engaging then with your to-do list. So we call it regroup and plan. So it's the time of day that you're going to get organized. You're going to get all the to-dos out of your head into your to-do app, on your calendar, whatever. And then that's when you take that step back and say, okay, what are those top 3 priorities, 4 priorities that I'm going to do the next day? So having a set time in your day when you engage with your tools and look at all the tasks that are there and decide your priorities, again, will help create this as a habit. So having a good system and having a good routine, kind of both together are needed. I just want to make one more comment too, Nance, that was awesome. And one of the things that we hear from a lot of leaders is they feel like they're having accountability issues across their organization. And what we typically observe is most people are not trying to drop the ball. They're just not very organized, quite honestly, and can't track all the different tasks. So that's why we're excited about the task management tools in Microsoft, because it gives you such a great way to keep track of all the various tasks and keep them in your face so you don't drop the ball. So awesome. All right, let me wrap up and then we'll open up for Q&A. So if there's more questions, feel free to start entering them into the chat. So
I want to add on before you go to your wrap up
please, yes.
to what you said about getting them into the to-do app. And doing that regroup and plan the night before. So I loved the My Day, but you can't put them right on My Day. So just make sure when you're doing that regroup and plan that you're putting tomorrow as the due date, and then they're going to automatically show in the My Day for you tomorrow.
Love it. Thanks, Nance. So at this point in the session, a lot of people are like, what the heck does CTC productivity do? So again, I mentioned earlier, we do a lot, anything with helping a company run more efficiently. Nancy and I could be coaching somebody on how to run an effective meeting or be an effective delegator. There's lots of things there. But as it relates to Microsoft 365, we really have created a roadmap over the years on how to do this right. Most companies don't ever get to the point of good full adoption of the software. So we come in and really assist there, and we can step in at any phase. Sometimes we're coming in and stepping in directly into what we call the optimized phase, which is Microsoft 365 is set up properly, but they want to start using all the productivity apps. More often than not, though, we tend to find companies don't set up the team's infrastructure properly. So we often recommend we start at the beginning, which is we want to peek under the hood and look at how you've configured your team's environment, make sure it's set up properly, permissions, security, all that kind of stuff. We'll help migrate data, migrate email, and then we'll get into the optimized phase. Another important thing to know is we always want to train and educate the power users, the end users, and the IT group to fully understand how to maintain the solutions that we've built. So our wrap-up phase is really educating, make sure they understand how to use it so that you're not fully dependent on us once we help you. So that's our strategy. One of our areas of secret sauce, and I'll attribute Nancy a lot to helping us figure out this strategy, is we figured out you can't just do group training. It just doesn't work for everybody. Definitely group training has a time and a place and it's important, but a lot of one-on-one training needs to happen. You might have somebody that's just like a stickler and they don't want to leave email and start using other tools. We find when we do one-on-one training, we get them more comfortable. They understand they can ask any dumb questions. So it's training, really, our approach is very unique there and has really made a big difference. The other piece is there's a million different ways to do everything in Microsoft 365. It's really important that companies define exactly how they plan to use it and come up with what we call rules of engagement. So think of it as your operations manual on how you're using 365. And so we kind of have an iterative process with everything we're doing to make sure there's full adoption, clear rules on how people are using stuff, and it keeps going from there. So. And the next webinar, again, I'll enter into chat those all those links again. So if you want to sign up for a webinar in July, Arnie will be back up talking about SharePoint solutions and things that we can do to supplement CRM tools. That would be a great topic. And now we're open for Q&A. We have a couple minutes if anybody has any more questions. I don't Nance, did any come through chat? I didn't see any.
Dustin sent one, but I think he has left the building.
Oh,
and he asked if it integrates well with OneNote. And this is one of the places that Microsoft is lacking. In OneNote, the desktop app only, you did have the ability to take something that was in OneNote and go ahead and add it to your Outlook tasks. I have not yet read anywhere that it tells me they're going to continue with that and have it integrate with the to-do list. So, we just kind of have to wait and see. And I do wish that there was a better integration because that is something that I get asked all the time from my clients. So I keep watching for it. And there is one of the next webinars I'll bring, there's a website and you can go and search for Microsoft feedback. And there's feedback websites on every one of the applications that you can see what people are requesting, and you can see how Microsoft has responded to it. If it's something they're working on, or they need more people to vote on it, because you can also vote and say, yes, this is a feature in this app that I
Awesome.
want. And they listen to that, and they go ahead and make those changes. OneNote itself, a couple of years ago, they were going to get rid of the desktop app, and enough Microsoft users went and sent messages on that feedback board, and they went, whoa, okay, we heard you. We're not going to get rid of it.
That's
We're only going to make
awesome.
it better now.
All right, Dustin, go find that place where you can make your comments about how important it is. So Dustin's still here, Nance too. He was
Oh,
still
okay.
Perfect. Any other questions about task management and Microsoft 365? And you feel free to unmute yourself if you'd rather talk, or enter it into chat. I think one thing I'll point out while people maybe are thinking about questions, one of the things I love about using the To-Do app on the phone is you can use voice to text technology to actually get the to-do in there. One of the things we're observing a lot in our coaching is that people, when they go to add something to their to-do list, they're looking at all these other things they forgot to do, and then they go down another rabbit hole and they get distracted. So voice to text allows you to kind of get it out of your head without looking. So that's a pretty cool feature.
And if you have an iPhone, my iPhone clients tell me that they are able to ask Siri to change the default task app from whatever it is, Apple tasks, to the To-Do app. I have looked high and low and cannot find how to do that on my Android phone. So if you are an iPhone user, you have a nice advantage there that you can change your default task app to the Microsoft To-Do app, so that when you tell Siri to add something, it goes on there. And when you get back in your office, you'll see it on your big screen.
Perfect. Love it. So any other questions? We've got just a couple minutes left. Any other questions? And it can be questions about anything with 365 if you don't have questions about task management, but we're happy to answer it. You have one of our very best trainers on the call here, so feel free to take advantage of her knowledge.
Nope, we gave them enough, Jan. They
Yeah,
don't need
that's
any more.
good. It's a
Go-
lot. Nope,
go
that's
play.
perfect. Perfect. Well, thanks everybody for being here. We appreciate it. We'll hopefully see you next month, and reach out to us if you have any other questions on the side. We're happy to answer them. So thanks. Awesome job, Nance, as usual. Appreciate it.